Are you ready?
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Rabasha Family Podcast. We're here for another special episode, guys. My dad has written a book. To be honest, when I was younger, I used to read books, Stephen Gerrard autobiography, people that I would look up to just from a young age and growing up. But I never thought my own dad could write a book. Like, that's crazy. I've been in marketing, I've been marketing other people who have written books, but I didn't think my dad would ever write his own book. So, I mean, how does it feel?
Yeah, it feel good. You feel inspiration, and not only you, even me. I thought before. I thought I'm never going to write a book, but where I realize now, when you change your mind, when you change your thought, so everything's possible. You can write it, and it's inspiration. Yes, one things make me change. I learn everything you have to learn. So I educated myself to learn, and the way I educated myself is from learning from other motivation speaker. So only person who inspired me most is a guy called Neville Goddard. So I teach, learn from him, and he told me. So when I say he told me, because I've been listening often, it's like he talked to me like every single day. And he told me, don't worry about qualification. Don't worry about anything else. You want to write a book, think about it. That's the only way you're going to do it. Think about it. Feel you can able to do it. Don't worry about, I was asking, I can't speak English, I'm going to write a book, I can't speak English. And they said, don't worry about that. Think and then plan and then keep going to do it. And that's how he did. So is what inspiration. Keep listening to him. So now the message I've been listening to him, it keep coming in my mind. So that's why. To write a book is not about another intelligence you have. No, it's the story you have in your mind. So what you have been listening. So the world feeds us everything. The world feeds the news. So because I started listening to him, I was learning every single day, but without knowing, I was learning. And the things he told me, say, you are God. And that's why I'm writing. I am God. Now, when your mind comes the story put to write, your mind asks question. The question my mind asks me, what you know about religious? How do you know about it? How do you know God lives in heaven? How do you know all those things there? And now we go back to think and say, oh, this is the missionary came to Africa to teach us God. He lived in the sky, he has the sun, he came to earth, and then he died, and then he's going to come back again to save us. So that is the story somebody taught us. So that is missionaries. So now these guys now never got it. Also they write their story long time ago, the same time 1900, telling us we are God. But we never get a chance to read their story. So that's why I came in now to learn to read the story for his, which doesn't mean you need qualification. You don't need PhD. You don't need to be in school. You don't need to be anything special. It's just to learn story from somebody else. And that is why I read the book. If missionary tell us God live in the sky, and we believe it, so why also we can't believe God live in us? So what is the difference? Because only what we believe in, it's one God. And just read it. I was a Christian. First time when I listened Neville Goddard, I said, no, this guy is crazy. So the missionary told us they got to come false prophet who told us, oh, God is not God in this. No, because they know the truth. So they are the one who are false prophet, but they tell us they are false prophet who come. So that is our idea came to write a book, is change your thought and change your belief and educate yourself and everything change. You know?
So
I told you that you're not God.
I remember this journey of before starting this podcast. The reason why you started the podcast was because you went in a period of time during COVID where, you know, no one was working, you were just drinking beers, not really feeling a life of purpose. And then because of COVID, you started to consume more information, and then that's how you fell in love, or you started to get upon the teachings of Neville Goddard. I remember a time I was in Europe, in Sweden, and I found Neville Goddard. I was 18, 19, 20, 21, and I used to read those books, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so you're there going in COVID, you start to read those books, and then it's inspiring, and then you're doing the walk and you're staying consistent, and then you kept talking about it, kept listening to it, and then you said, well, I see Neville Goddard on YouTube. When I'm listening his talks, I'm watching YouTube. Why can't we do that? I can do that on YouTube, and maybe because these are things that I just never thought about. It's blowing my mind. Like, how can he say that I'm a god? But when I think about what he's saying, it makes sense. Like, everything makes so much sense, and you start to reflect, and then you start, wow, and then you feel powerful. You feel empowered to know that like nothing is outside of me. All the things that I've, you know. So then you go on that journey, and then podcast and doing this, and then now. Like the way I used to read in Sweden, Neville Goddard's books, now I can read my dad's books. Like the way his book, you listen to the audio book, or even me, I used to be on the train, I could never think, I was there reading Neville Goddard in the train, but I could never think my dad would write a book like this.
So that's how the change comes. So the change comes through the mind. So COVID, it was change. So COVID changed the whole world. COVID brings fear to everyone. COVID brings fear. People sneezing, people run away. You meet people, you're going for a walk, they saw you when you're black, they look at noise, so you think doesn't come, even before anything's there. And when you sneeze somewhere, everybody run away. And when I know how fear comes to people, just fear. In Australia, when you're crossing the traffic light, there's a place where you press and then the traffic light pay attention. People used to use their finger. Now you see people using their eyeball, people they're coming with, and they say, wow, that is the fear they are putting people mind, everything. I'm telling you the story. So now, when I start to go for walk, so it's COVID time, and I went for a walk, and then as I said, wow, it's so good. Let me tell somebody to take me a photo. And then I said, oh, can you take me a photo? And I will never forget. She was ready. She come to her pocket, and she had to look like those serviette, you know, the white one, the wet one, and she had to cover my phone, and then she can take the photo.
Of course, hey.
See, that was the fear they brought to people. So, but that fear also made me change my life. So that's why 5 years to write a book, to change, to go for a walk, to look after myself. I read. What do you do when you have free time? So you look after your health, and then the second times you educate yourself, and then you have routine, you have goal you go to do, and then the rest of the story. So all the routine I have is just from the COVID. And the good things also I did with my coach, Jedway Naina. So he did something called a diary. You know, so the diary you have to put your goals, what you want to achieve. And somehow I say I want to write a book. I didn't know how I was going to do it. And I have it. I have my diary plan. And now I can take it. So the feelings now is to know when you do it. So the feeling is something you can't believe it. The way you feel, the way you do things, the way you think is what matters. So the person you become is different who were you 10 years ago before you read the book. Because you have to read the book. And the good things I did that during that COVID time, I read the book, the Bible. I read it as the history, not reading like pastor reading verses, no. Start from Genesis. And then I can listen the audio of the Bible. So when you read the Bible now as a book, and you look my story, I see in the Bible. My journey from Rwanda to be here, it's in the Bible. All those names they say about things there, no, those no name. The Bible talking about you. Yes, the Bible is your journey. The Bible is not the name. Abraham or Isaac or those, it's mean nothing. Those not the people. The Bible said the journey, what you went through. See, no one has the same journey with other one. You and your brothers, you have different journey. Me and my brother and my sister, different journey. Your mom and her sisters, different journey. No one in this world has the same journey than anyone else. And all those journey people go through, billion people, you found them where? In the Bible. That's why everybody's Jesus. There's no way God is going to say Jesus who's in Nazareth is only the person you go to believe. How people in Africa know where Nazareth is? How do you go to know something there? But Jesus is a child who born in every street, every country, every land of God. Remember, this country, they were not there before. Yeah. This country will be created by British, by white people. These names, they were not there. But people, they were there. The history was made. The people were living there. So that was people say, oh, we are scared, fearing, oh, the world has changed. The world has never changed. The world is evolved better and better. But most people complain, the world is getting even better, much better than where it was before. But all people keep complaining, oh, the world is changing. Oh, the kids, they are in front of camera, they're in front of something there. They think that is what is changing. No.
Let me ask you, for kids, when the parents give them the tablets and the iPhone, what do you think about that? Because for me, when I see it, I see a mother give a child that tablet. It's like it hypnotizes them. The child stays fixed on it, then the mother has peace, she's going, she gets it clean. Imagine the thing, you could even just put them to sleep, but then is that, they say, maybe too much technology? What are your thoughts on giving children technology?
So there's no change because the technology is going to be the future. Yes. So the technology is two things. It's positive and it's negative. That's how life is. It's good to mess up some people, or it's good to make other people life much make easier. So that's how it is. It's the same. Always is how life is. It's negative and positive. But when you bring fear, what technology is going to do, you're going to have a problem with you. And that is why always this thing comes to us Africans. Africans, always they put us fear. When technology came, when all those company comes, bring technology, Africa will get these things late, after everyone. But other countries, look India.
India.
When they knew this thing coming, when the Chinese knew this coming, they teach their children, they go things. But do you know what African parents do? They are punishing their children to go on this technology. How do you go to compete? How do you compete with other kids, computer building, thinking there, when your parents punish you, giving you many times to do thinking there? We are not going to go to compete. But because I say there is positive as negative, but they give as always Africans the negative one. So Africa were the one who carry negative one. But look, India, they took it, they took positive way.
Very positive.
But
and they
also, they know also they could be negative from their community there, but they did good work, good thinking. Good thinking. Western white people now, they are scared because these kids, they put effort to learn from it.
all those startups, those engineers,
Everything.
even in America, like I saw Donald Trump, they put the thing like 100,000, like a limit you have to pay. But I said, at the end of the day, the reason why you import those minds is because they're good. They know how to do it.
So always there's a reason someone come into the power. So the reason Donald Trump, for me, that's what I'm thinking. Because every empire has to go down. And the best way empire has to go down, it had to come from within. So the power was not going to be destroyed from outside. So the power had to be destroyed within. So that was Trump is doing now.
What do you mean?
So stopping people to bring the technology something there is diminishing the power of American they used to have. So when you are kicking out new technology, you're thinking there, you bring only white people, and they don't have that capacity to bring the world they used to be before. So empire is going down.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's actually true.
Yes.
It's true.
So he came to destroy their own country because he tried to protect it, but too late. Yes. And the measure he's bringing to protecting it is damaging it more. Yeah. Because now they live in fear. So America, they live in fear. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to compete. They don't know where they are now.
China has overtaken
So now,
them.
so the competition between the people who hate Trump inside the country, inside his own party, they are majority. And even him, he's doing his personal gain, his personal winning. So he's not winning because of the American people. He's winning because his color, he's white. But he forgot war and to have nuclear atomic, it doesn't make you to win technology. The arms, it means nothing. Nuclear power, what does? It just destroys, but it doesn't build anything. But China, India, they're building, they're keeping thinking. But the good things, America, that is why all technology used to come from them, because they are willing to finance any startup.
Any startup. They buy.
When you go to America, you say, "Oh, I can build this." They give you money, and that is why they are different with
anyone. I found an AI company this week. I found an AI company that you have a sales team. The AI does that. It does everything a salesperson would do. Like I was telling my client acquisition person, your job is done because an AI can do that, right? From those countries, Ukraine, Americans come in already, invest straight away. San Francisco, California, they do. And then I said, that's exactly what Dad said. They go any good thing with a good idea, especially AI, they buy it straight away. Those Indian kids, and that's why I was shocked. I said, you're raising the price, because before in America, to get someone like from India, the engineers, it costs $1,000. Now he said it has to be $100,000. But you know what? Companies will still pay that because
So it doesn't matter now. So they go to land, technology now, you don't need to go to America to build it. You can build in China,
They can
you
outsource.
build in Australia, you can build anywhere because now other companies they know we can now do it now.
Yeah.
So that really so that is why he came to destroy the empire.
So you're saying what he did, it's too late. Do
Yeah.
you think that it could have worked before to keep it, okay, like, what's the power of him with saying, because the Democratic was saying, okay, let's let everyone in, like many immigrants from anywhere in the world, let's let them in so that they can vote for, we give them food stamps.
But you see, sometimes not everyone. So everyone is mean nothing. But let's become freedom. Yeah.
What does that mean?
So freedom is who can come, let's say came, if they can build something. Don't restrict everyone. So because he's thinking people they're coming to damage their country, he's thinking about if you open the borders, you're not going to bring only the IT guy. See? You got to bring criminal, you got to bring prostitute, you got to bring everybody. So that's how it works. You got to bring cooks, you got to bring everyone in the country to build the economy. That should be there.
Because even the criminals build the economy too. Because
Yes.
the jails
And
is a private company.
There's court, there's anything there. So now the problem is when we immigrate in this country, so they say, oh, if you're immigrant, you should not be a criminal. You have to be nice, you have to do things there. If you want to be a criminal, you have to go back where you're coming from. So that's the problem. So now they say to be a criminal, you have only to be white. Yeah, if a white child is a criminal, so that is okay. But if a South African child become a criminal, it's not okay. He has to go back.
Like why you should. It's like you should be grateful to be here. You shouldn't be breaking any laws.
Yeah.
But like
But again, the problem is always when I'm reading, writing the book, question ask me, why do we immigrate anyway?
And but hold on. Even the word, you see how they're very smart. The whole world where they'll label you as an immigrant. What does that even mean? I'm native to every land I step on. I'm native to this land just as much as you are because you've also come from somewhere else. So it's like another label. That word is just a label to distract you, really.
Yes. You're coming from
outside. Like I've said it myself. Like I go to places, I do a speech. I come from a first generation immigrant family. What does that mean?
So you mean you are not white.
So I'm making them clear that
yes.
Because the white people also they came from Scotland, they came from
no. So when they take the land, they don't call themselves immigrant. So they say they own the land.
When they take it.
So I can give example. The white South Africans, they don't call themselves immigrant.
Yo, think about that.
Yeah, they call them South Africans.
They don't call themselves immigrants.
Yes. There is no white call themselves immigrant. So they always white think wherever they live, it's their land, is where their ancestors stay. There is no Africans who call in South Africa they're immigrant. But no one African tell South African people go back where you're coming from. No, that it doesn't happen that way.
But do you think that's the power of the mind? Is
Yes.
Like what is that? What is that for
Yes.
you to go in and you can go in and take a country? You
Yes.
take a country, then you take a country, and you make the other people know like this is my
it's
land.
part of my land.
This is
yes.
my land.
Mm.
Even though I've come here and I've taken it,
Yes.
and then I'm gonna label you a name and call you a name, but you like they went to South Africa. That's so true.
Yes. But in South Africa, they don't call them immigrant. They call themselves African. So, but now in Australia, you are immigrant, even if you've been allowed to live in the country. So, but you see that distraction, and then also they change, and then they say, oh, we like multiculturalism. So the white people, they don't be in what do you call it? Multicultural. So the white people always there on one side. So other people, they are multicultural. So what is multicultural? Is the people coming from different countries. So, but if we come, so what they become it. See, they put those institutions,
Those names,
and you wonder why you think that.
Like, what does that
They
even
should
mean?
be easy. They say, okay, this is African Australian, this is Eastern European Australian, and the simple is like that.
It just says like where geography that
Yes,
they,
where
you
you
know.
coming to think that, because our geography comes is what our identity. See, it could be simple, but again, it creates economy. When they multicultural, there's a lot of things go with it. Is there? So always white, the outsider. So they don't belong to those multicultural, those community, those thinking there.
Like even
So that if a white person does everything is individual, but an immigrant or whatever they call African does some things, it become the whole community. Yeah.
So true.
So that's why we have to live outside in the community. We don't need to live in the community. I don't represent the community. I'm Rwandan background. I'm African Australian. But I don't represent all the times, whatever you do, commit crime in Australia or whatever, in America, everywhere. So it doesn't mean I represent Rwanda. See, if you do a crime, they have to go back to look at the history for where you're coming from. Doesn't work that way. Everyone can commit crime because of how mind can make you do it. It's not where you're coming from. Where you're coming from, nothing to do with your mind and with your crime or with your goodness, with everything you do. So now, if you become good, why don't go to look, oh, why this person is nice? Let's go to see where you're coming from. No? So when you're good, they think, oh, he's Australian, it's good. But do something wrong, they have to go back to see where you're coming from, you see? But it's a game of mind. The question is, why are we here anyway? See, that's the question we go to publish. That's the book we should write. Why do we immigrate? Why are you here? That's the question I can ask every African, but we can answer in what?
And maybe that answer is looking at this book. Who told you that you're not God? If we were if we all believed in our continent that we were gods, do you think there would be corruption? Do you think there would be things? Do you think there would be people, you know, building up an economy and a system that, you know, the same way when you go to China, you see the same way you go to even the Emirates, or, you know, where you see building infrastructure. Like, we have all the infrastructure, we have mind power to be where people want to be immigrants there, a so-called immigrant, which is a made-up word, right? Even when you said about multicultural day, I thought about it like, that's a made-up, like, what does that even mean? Like, the fact that you label and make that into a day is just, anyway.
Yeah, so if, as I say, we read this book, if this will be good, why we have be here, or why we be just to be enjoy to be where the country is, and people enjoy to travel and to live wherever they are, and that's why. So, especially for Africans, a white man, he never gave us straight anything. He doesn't let us breathe. Never. He came to Africa 19, he colonized us, he make us slave, he never get breathe. And then even after he gave the independence, he never gave independence because he never left. He's still there, he's still in South Africa, he's still interfering in politics everywhere. A white man, he never make us breathe. He's still teaching Bible, Jesus is going to come in the churches, he's never... 90% who go to church here now in Australia, they're immigrant. You're not going to find white people in church because they fear. And then you come here again, they say, oh, this immigrant, they go back where they're coming from. They found us there, they destroyed everything there. Even when you come here, we start breathing, start doing things there. No, they keep distracting you. You may be cook for somebody. You could go nursing home. You look somebody's father, you are feeding them, and his kid is on the street. He said, "Oh, let's send them where they're coming from." and he will not go to feed his father in nursery. You wonder, what, how society can think like this way? Those white people were on the street. Half of them, they have their parents in nursing home. And the 50% of employee nursing home, they are immigrants. But they're working with the flag. How does it work like that? How the world will go to make it live enjoyable there? And they look and they think, wow, how can this world is going to change there?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's so true.
So true. They make noise, oh, we can't get houses, but you wonder when they go home, where are these people they go to go if they don't have a house they go to make on the street there?
Or when they go and order an Uber, someone's bringing them their food, you know.
So that is why I say immigrant, we have to start thinking, if we go to make it there, can we have our own party? Can we have something?
I don't even want to call it. That word even immigrant. Like when I hear it, just because it's just like a made up term. It doesn't exist. So it's just like. But imagine forming a party, you know, like an independent party, right? Everyone wants to come and build, but you know we can get into all of that. So, yeah, I just thought we'd do something the first time in history where a son reads with his father his own book. So I started from
maybe do chapter 1.
Okay, from chapter 1. Chapter 1 by Ndeze Rabasha, who told you that you are not God. Before chapter 1, the history of religion in Rwanda. Before today's religions reached Africa, Rwanda was a nation with its own way of life, a kingdom, social order, and beliefs. Rwanda is not just land. Rwanda is people with a way of living and a way of believing. We cannot always find those beliefs faithfully preserved in books or histories, and even when we hear about them, they are often misunderstood or distorted. Before foreign religions arrived, Rwandans believed in their God. They believed that God was present in nature and within themselves. They used to say, Imana, Yiri wa, Ahandi, Igataha, I Rwanda. God spends the day elsewhere and returns home to Rwanda at night. This means God returns home to the person, to the inner dwelling. This shows they believed God lives within them. Before the Europeans arrived, another belief system entered through a figure called Ryangombe Ria Babinga, bringing an external cult. It was heavy with ritual and grew into an imposed system many Rwandans did not accept. Although even the king was compelled to follow it, many people rejected it. They could not resist its force and were coerced into it. The Ryangombe system was the first foreign cult in Rwanda. After that came the Belgians. They sought to divide the country with no respect for how Rwandans lived, without consultation or honor. Missionaries arrived in the 1900s with their Christian message and tore down what was there. Because people were wary of the burdensome Ryangombe cult, many chose Christianity, seeing its lighter by comparison. That is how foreign religions began replacing indigenous beliefs. One man stood against this tide, King Yuhi V. Musinga. He refused baptism, rejected foreign names, and refused to serve the Belgians. For this, he was exiled to Congo and never returned to Rwanda before he died. Colonizers stripped us of our names and beliefs. Everyone was baptized and given a Christian name, dispossessed of their own family identity. That path changed Rwanda. This is why I write, so we reclaim our names, our beliefs, and our dignity as Africans. So I ask you, reader, keep an open mind. Learn, seek the truth. What the missionaries brought is not the only truth. God did not just send one person, Jesus, to save the whole world. Did our parents and forefathers await Jesus? They did not need him to live. They had life, peace, wisdom, governance, and wealth of their own. Life is not merely technology or fashionable clothing. Children walked barefoot. Sometimes they walked naked. But they had values. A girl could be modestly dressed and no boy would dare shame her. Is that still true today? Much of what we now call African societal decay was seeded by foreigners. They taught us to doubt who we are, to live in fear, guilt, and confusion. They taught us that we are bad, sinners, always begging for a savior. But hear me, guys. There is no unquenchable, literal life fire waiting. Heaven is not as they described. God is within you. The power of God is your thought. Your mind is where God dwells. Nothing on earth is made without thought. If you grasp this, you will know it is true. If you resist it, it will be only hard for you. Yet once you know the truth, you cannot go back. I call upon young Rwandans, especially those in the diaspora. Read, study, reclaim your history, reclaim your beliefs, your names, and your strength. We had everything before the foreigners came. And that's the end of chapter 1.
Yeah, that's in chapter 1. And that is where this powerful, when you read this, you have also to test what I'm saying. Yeah. So when I say God lives in you, you have to look, is it possible? You have to test in yourself. And that quote you say, Imana yirirwa handi igataha Rwanda. That was there before colonial came in. That shows that is our ancestors live. They know, that's why they say that. See, that are the things you go home with your God. You sleep with your God. Whatever you did the whole day, the struggle you did the day, whatever you go past through every day. And that's what happened every single person. Every single person, doesn't matter who are you. When you come home, you're sleeping. It's way with God. What does it tell you in your dream? Who talked to you in your dream when you were sleeping? How do you know even you are going to wake up in your dream? It's God. When you are dreaming, you travel. You travel miles and miles and miles. I test it. I'm lying. You're dreaming. You are in Rwanda. And you wake up, you find you're in your house in Australia. You're dreaming. How does it happen? How does it happen? You think somebody is knocking the door, somebody's talking to you. And you wake up, you found no one is there. How do you wake up? You see, you know, oh, my father, I know he passed away. I talked to him, said, Dad, what are you telling me? And you wake up, you see, and you see him, you see his face, you see things. If that is not God, what else you go to see called God? But because they take away from that things away from us, my Rwandese, when they say, oh, we can't buy your book because we don't like your belief. Of course, everybody started like that. I know they will go to change. But because they say, guys, diaspora, learn, read, open your mind to be the truth. Any things we did is, look those white people. Look how they came with robes, with all those things there. What all this was talking about? Huh? We believe it 100%. Whatever they say is true. Even now is the problem we're having in the diaspora. The people who are against me is not anyone else, is within our community.
I mean, white people love you more. The feedback I've gotten has been from like white people, like, man, they're the ones who support. They're the ones who
Because they know
comment.
the truth.
They're the ones who like they love it. They when they as soon as they see it, like and that's why like even the whole color thing. I don't see people for their color. I see them for their soul. But that's what I love because like let's say they could see that and they say, wow, this is powerful. They don't care, about anything else. No, this is. But like you said, they know it's true.
Yes, they know
Well,
it's
white people, I don't see white people in church anymore.
true. No, even
I
the
don't see
church.
white people go to church.
The church here is full of immigrants, but all the pastors they are white.
Wow.
But the follower now, the immigrant, they know new, different background who will be not only African, even maybe Asian.
The fact that you said that even though the pastors they're white, I mean they still have like their own churches as well. They'll have their own community churches, but still the fact that you said that's
So
great.
if you go to found the church of white only, that is the one who don't want to mix. You see, I don't want to say that name. If you go to found a church only for white people, it's going to be there somewhere in the suburb somewhere there where they come out. They don't want to mix with anyone there.
Which is cool. Which is
Yes, it's so cool, and that is also is a supremacy to some. You remember churches they believe, but it's so powerful belief.
Okay, I think it was good. We can break it up for you guys in parts. Yes, we can break it for you guys in parts. This powerful book. So please, guys, the link in the description. You can go and buy it. It's only about like $3 USD. It's $6, guys. You'd spend food on it, but when you learn these teachings, and I think for us we'll go through this series, reading this book. Even we do this online, we do this in person. We'll go through the whole book. So you guys. Even if a lot of you are too busy to read, so what I would say is you can just buy it, and then in every podcast episode, we'll read the next chapter, so we can read it together. So you can just put it in the car, and we'll read it with you like an audio book, and then you can just be following along the journey and then getting the teachings, because it's very easy to consume a podcast.
And then also this is a book of inspiration. Just buy it now to support, to inspire, to get time to. So, first of all, there's a feeling when you write a book, and that's how it works. And it's not easy, but also the hardest things also is to sell it. Selling a book also is another game you have to learn, is another game you have to study. But yeah, as every time we go to do, we can market it itself, and also we got to have time with this new technology to make it maybe on audio book, because I can see Sujira just did well. Maybe I hope we can plan with it, and then you can do the audio.
Was my reading good?
Yes, it was so good, so good. Maybe we got to do the audio for the book. And as I said, as a family, we are doing together. I publishing it, and it was published by ETS Rubasha Media. So we are opening now our own website where you can log in to buy it. But the website you go to buy ebook. So we do use technology, no punishment for your children. We go for ebook. It's going to be much easier. It's less, but we need the change. And that's the message I can bring. Read the book, open our mind. We don't need to be restricted because of my belief. We are Rwandan, we are African, we are the community there. Read, you see what I'm saying, and then you judge. The judgment is not going to come outside from. The judgment is not going to come from the heaven outside of you. The judgment comes within.
Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll go on the iPhone. I'll get the iPhone thing and get a photo, and we'll see you guys. So next chapter, if you guys like my reading, comment below. And I think you guys can follow along, because that's an easy way for you guys to read. Okay, peace guys.